You're listening to Life Check Yourself with life coach, transformational leader, and dating and relationship badass, Marni Battista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important life and love issues you want to know about. So, if you're ready to life check yourself in your relationships, your career, and the areas of your life that matter most to you, and you're not afraid to be called out on your, stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
Life Check Yourself with Silvia Quintella, the mystical secret to breaking free from your breakup. Ladies, buckle up. You're going to go to the quantum level of your deepest soul today in our call. In this episode, I have Silvia Quintella. She is an entrepreneur. She's a small business owner. She is a certified transformational life coach and mentor, and she has a passion for energy healing and helping others. She studied the Coactive Training Institute, and she made the brave decision to immigrate from Brazil to the United States in her 20s. She lived in France. She met a few strong and powerful women who showed her that it was safe to be authentic and connect to her inner divine. And this is what led Silvia to discover the power of her words in elevating her vibration and bringing peace, self-love, and prosperity. She is a successful small business owner, coach, mentor. She has the privilege of helping women from all over, lots of different backgrounds, embrace their authentic selves rooted in self-love and following their intuition. And she is a gem, and she's so brilliant. I'm super excited for you to be here, Silvia.
Oh, hi, Marni. You're so wonderful. It's a joy to be here. Thank you.
And I told you, I was so impressed when I heard your story of, taking that brave risk in your 20s. You think, now, in our middler years, we think back to how young we were when we were 20, but when you're 20, you sort of don't even understand that. And then to start and create literally everything from nothing is definitely a result of your beautiful gift and power. So we're going to talk a little bit about dating in this episode today, ladies. So those of you who've been missing dating, this is going to be for you. Although Silvia helps women with so much more, but we thought we'd talk about that because we're coming in. If you're listening to this when we record it, we're getting ever closer to fall, which means we're getting ever closer to the end of the year, which means we're getting ever closer to all of you saying this was going to be the year I was going to, meet my man or take my relation to the next level. And then for a lot of us, we find ourselves in the middle of a breakup or considering a breakup. And whether your breakup was last week or 4 years ago, for a lot of you, it really has created these little micro traumas that steal your confidence and your self-worth. So I wanted to start by just asking Silvia, at a beginning sort of level, what are some of the strategies our listeners can use to start to move past the breakup and get back into their confidence and self-worth?
Yeah. So, when women first contact me and they went through a divorce or breakup, they're feeling energetically depleted.
Mm-hmm.
They are emotionally unbalanced, especially us that we are, on your middle age.
Yes.
The hormones, they don't help us, right? To feel completely fulfilled, especially after a breakup. And also the lack of confidence, can I fall in love again? Am I lovable? Am I worth of to be loved by the way that I want to be, right? So the first thing that I think it's important is to start transforming and releasing the energetic cords with her former partner or former partners, because we could be carrying all that energy from a boyfriend that we met in high school. And so I think this is very important. And then second, explore, the lessons that we learned in that relationship or relationships, right? And to find a balance between body, mind, and soul, not just mind. not just what the mind wants, but what my soul wants, you know? And then third, transform any limited beliefs and self-sabotage that she could be doing that may be preventing her from healing faster and moving forward. Because, sometimes we get divorced or we break up, but then we keep that energy boiling inside of her heart. As you said, it could be like 4 years ago, and I still think about that. And we will talk about that, how to let it go, those things. So, but definitely the energetic cards.
I think this is a really important thing that you said that I really want to highlight is that for so many of the people who listen to this show, like their brain is the thing that has gotten them out of problems and, into solutions. And so when you're looking at energetic cores and ties, and we have this belief that we're supposed to just get over it, or move past it, and we keep that a secret, either to ourselves or to other people. And so I really just want everyone to understand that if you feel like, you're not meeting any more great guys, or guys are disappearing on you, or you just keep being so busy that you don't find time to date, then a lot of these things that Silvia mentioned can be sort of at the root cause, rather than you just kind of trying to out hustle the system by reading another blog, or like trying another app, or going to hang out at a different place, or thinking you need to move, or things like that. So can you give me some examples of maybe a client that you have worked with, or someone that that our listeners can kind of resonate with, relate to, that will help inspire them to continue to keep looking at this rather than just sort of give up?
Sure. So I once had a client who would only attract men that they would be traveling all the time because they're super busy, extremely busy at work. This man wouldn't be available to give the kind of love and time that she needed. As we start exploring the reasons that she couldn't attract an emotionally available man, she found out that deep inside, listen to that, deep inside, she carried a lot of resentment towards her ex-husband. And even though they got divorced like 5 years before, this was like 2 years ago that she became my client. So this was like 7 years ago. So 5 years before, so for 5 years, she was like boiling, deep inside. She carried that resentment. You know why? Because she could not forgive him, because he exchanged 25 years of a solid marriage to a 20 years old younger.
Ouch.
So using my energetical tools, she could align herself into energy of forgiveness. I'm having goosebumps just to remember. Yeah. And also the gratitude for having learned so many amazing things during those 25 years, and the amazing kids that they had. And I'm having more goosebumps. I'm getting emotional because it was amazing, her situation after now that we worked together. So she let go of the resentful energy and embrace forgiving energy. So also after guiding her to become aligned with the best version of herself and her higher self, she forgave herself for not opening up, her heart to be in a healthy relationship during all these years. And a few weeks later, after she started practicing those energetic tools, she met a wonderful man from another state or another country. I think it was another state. And he was her divine companion. And they just got married, and she never saw that she could find true love in her late 50s. She's like, I think now she's 62, so. And another thing, Marni, people are into this, soulmate. Sometimes soulmate is very demanding, right? So I think it could be a soulmate, but more like in alignment with who you are becoming. We are not the same person when we are 30. Now we're on our 50s, 60s, 40s. So I really think that, this stereotype that, I want to find my soulmate, there is an alignment there. Is this man that you're dating is in alignment of who you are becoming? He could be your soulmate, but he could be mean to you.
Well, that's right, because your soul needs that journey so that you can shift and change and adjust or leave it. I think this is a really, really beautiful story. And what I want you all to sort of think about is this quote unquote symptom, right, of this person is, I'm dating someone who travels a lot. And if you were to say, do you date men who are emotionally unavailable? You'd be like, no. He's open. Like, he tells me he's really interested, he's open. And so you have to learn how to read between the lines of the energy. And so when someone tells me, that they have someone who's really busy or travels a lot or lives far away, and isn't willing to sort of like take it to the next level or change anything, I always say, there must be a part of you that's emotionally unavailable. And right. And
Beautiful.
so that's a really important thing. Okay. So let's talk about energetic cords. I think a lot of people who listen to our show, are in they're moderate woo-woos, like they're into spirituality, and also they believe like in the practical real world that we live in. And so when you talk about an energetic cord, which I completely believe in, what are they? What does that really, really mean? And how do you get them? Does everyone have them? All of that.
Sure. So, Marni, I believe we are here on this planet having a spiritual experience in a physical body. So everyone who we interact with, we exchange energy, especially when we make love and kiss. So when we go through a separation, divorce, a breakup, we carry with us all the energy from our previous partners, or as we mentioned, previous partners, right?
Right, way back.
Yeah. So the energetic cord is the residue of our soul fragmentation that is left over from our previous relationship. I have clients who come to me after breakup, not understanding why they're still so connected to their exes and can't stop thinking about them. Like, they don't want to be with them anymore, but they can't stop thinking about them. So I think as we cut the cords doing the Theta Healing energetic soldiers fragmentation rituals, it's a very profound ritual, we experience a beautiful alignment between your soul, mind, and body, which is the key, right? And then we let go of that old energy, that energy that was holding us captive from that last relationship or relationships. Let's put it like that. And cutting out that energy that doesn't belong to us anymore set us free to reconnect with our pure energy and open our hearts to fall in love with a partner that is better matched to the new version that we are becoming.
I love this because, I've been writing this book and I talk about your essential self, right? Your soul. And I think that the old way I used to think about it was, who are you? And think of like who we are as like a container and a skeleton and muscles and a brain, basically. And in doing this, work over the years, the way that I started sort of defining it is really to what you're talking about, is that what we are. Like, what are we? We are energy. And so that means that we have energy inside of us. We have energy around us, right? And we know that because even in our colloquial language, which is like, especially these days, what's the vibe? Right? What does that mean? It means like, right? Yeah. Everyone's like, I'm vibing, we're not vibing. It's all about energy. So if you feel that when someone walks into the room and it suddenly gets awkward, or there's someone that comes in the room and they light up the room, this is what we're talking about, energy, right? So if we all agree that we're energy, then it makes sense that as you sort of shed your skin, as you grow and evolve, what you're talking about, we have to then get rid of that old energy, like recycle it, move it out, so that the new identity, the new whole self can be. And so I want you to also know, like, again, you can't think your way out of it. I love that you use ritual and that you do an integrated approach of mind, body, spirit, so that you can actually create new space for someone new. So I love that. Okay. So in talking to you, the one thing that you always say, which I think is really interesting, is you talk about the spiritual team.
Oh, yeah.
And I love this because when I first started doing this work, I sort of tapped into this idea that I had this like spirit guides that were around me. And I was very not woo-woo people, by the way. And I was like, whoa. At first I was like, what the hell does that mean? Especially if you're a person who's like, I'm not a God person. I don't believe in the universe. You know, I'm very practical. So can you talk to us about what is a spiritual team really, and how does that help us or not?
Yeah, like we know we don't need to believe that we have a spiritual team. We have no matter what. But
I love that.
it's okay if we don't believe, right? I do believe because I work with them all the time. So all of us as human, we have many spiritual teams, you know, and also our guardian angels, and they may appear as human spirits, such as our like grandmother or grandfather, you know, a dear friend, or ancestors, you know, energy of our ancestors, or pets. Like, you know, I have Duke.
Right.
Duke
We
is
love
my
Duke.
Duke is my spiritual guide for sure. So, however, after working for so many years with my own spiritual team and with my client spiritual teams, I feel they seem to come from the top of hierarchy.
Say more about that.
They can take different roles. I feel like, you know, we have we have our guides, and then we have our angels, and then we have the spiritual team. The spiritual team, they're a little bit more evolved
Okay.
than even our angels, I would say. And this is my personal experience. So, you know, what is right, what is wrong? This is what I feel, you know,
Yes.
this is what is right for me. So they can take different roles, such as being a spiritual CEO, a spiritual marketers and managers. And so, for example, I will give an example. When I want to change something in my marketing business, I ask for help from my spiritual marketer coordinator. Or when I'm looking to buy a house, or when I'm looking for renting an apartment, I ask for my spiritual realtor.
Love that.
It works every time. As long, Marni, we are asking from your heart, from your soul, not from your ego mind.
Yeah, love
Because
that.
the ego mind wants to control the situation, which is okay. It's human, right? I can do whatever I want in terms of controlling. However, you don't beg. You don't beg, oh, please, the spiritual team. Oh, where's my house? No. Spiritual team, I don't know what to do. Take the lead. Go and do something for fun, you know, go to the nature or whatever. But the letting go, it's so important. You know, spiritual team, take the lead. I don't know what to do, but you know. And, you know, if they feel more resonated with God, creator, you know,
whatever gets you through the day, right?
Universe, you know,
exactly.
Anything.
I love it. You know, this is really cool because what I love about my job here is that I interview all these amazing people, and they
are amazing.
Well, thank you. But they and you take this thing that I've thought about, or I've like been aware of, but I didn't know like to call it a thing, or that it was a thing. Because when I was selling my house back in 2021, I wrote this whole intention. It was like super detailed, right? About like, you know, what I want. And I think what I was doing was I didn't know which realtor to choose, you know? And so I was in my head. I'm like, oh, this one who knows the neighborhood, or this one, you know? And I ultimately made that decision by like who I felt here. So now I can call Britt my spiritual realtor, because we manifested like literally the exact people, because I felt like my house had energy, and it like kind of, well, it was there when I first got married. And then when I got divorced, I feel like that house raised me up, and like it created like stability and family. And I knew that the energy of the house was for that. So I was sort of like the next like this house has the job now to like spiritually source this next, right? This next people that, which,
and you want that somebody in the same vibration live there, right?
Yeah, I want like the legacy.
Passion.
And so I think that when the way that you're describing this is that you can then understand that there is something with whatever you call it. But this is real. I want you all to write this down, because I think so many people say, well, how do I let it go? Like that very fine line between like surrender and action.
Yep.
People are like, if I'm in surrender, then do I just like, eat a bonbon and watch TV and let the spiritual guides handle it? So can you, and I know this is off our plan a little bit, but
I know it's okay.
Okay, so can you explain, like, so I've got my spiritual team, my spiritual realtor, my spiritual marketer, my spiritual dating coach, whatever it is, my spiritual matchmaker. What's that line of like, I'm turning it over, I'm asking, I'm not begging. And then what is the action that one would take in this world?
So when we talk to them, we don't need to be in lotus position, we don't need to be doing like 2 hours of meditation. We're busy, right?
Right.
Can be driving. We can be washing the dishes or cooking. I love talking to my spiritual team when I'm cooking. So, life can be difficult. All of us, especially on your age, we have a lot of responsibilities. So we just close your eyes and put your hands on your heart. And then you just say, hey guys, you know what I'm going through. And I think I deserve better. And you guys know that I deserve better. So take the lead. It's almost like an order. Because these rewire your brain. Because the brain brings doubt, fear, procrastination, sabotage. And Marni, you know me for years. I'm the queen of sabotage and procrastination. So if I could get over that, anybody can. So when you just give an order, I deserve better. And guys, that I deserve better. So take the lead. Show me what the next step is. And I'm going to give a few downloads as well at the end to help to be in tune with them, So, but close the eyes and touch your heart to silence the ego mind, the judge inside of her mind. And this is something very important, Marni. There is a book that calls Positive Intelligence. That book trains us how to become an observer of our ego mind. The author calls judge. And how to become friends of our sage. He calls sage, I call soul. That book, if your listener cannot understand anything that I'm saying here because of my accent.
No,
I'm choosing. Get the book, Positive Intelligence. Because the ego that really, really trigger us to surround her to this beautiful assistance that we have, the spiritual assistants, the CEOs, the managers, so take the lead. You know what I deserve. That. Take the lead as an order.
And then you're listening and you're aware. Now, here's what I think is really tricky too, is sometimes those spiritual guides will give you a clear sign and you go, and your judge gets in the way and starts to go to self-doubt.
It's beautiful,
right?
So the spiritual guides, they will give you 3 times the same signs. Somebody will tell you the same thing. If you turn on the TV, will be there. The same thing. If you turn on the radio, the same thing. That music from Eye of the Tiger?
Yes.
So every time that I'm feeling a little bit down and I ask guides, spiritual guides, show me the way. It's an order and take the lead. I go to my car, I turn on the radio, and there is Eye of the Tiger song. And it's a very old song, so it almost doesn't play anymore. You understand? So be in tune with what is the song that kind of brings you joy. They talk to us in a very special way. They talk to us with things that really bring us joy.
I love this. You need to listen to this. There's a Luke Bryan song called Play It Again.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard that?
I know that. It's perfect. It's a perfect example. Yeah.
Right. It's like, and then it came on again, even though I just heard it.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
I know.
So remember, 3 times, the answers come 3 times. And when you get the hunch, do it.
Okay.
Do it. Because if you don't do it, there are 1 million of people that would do it.
No, it's so true.
And then take your turn,
Yeah, it's funny. It's great that you're saying this. So I was just talking to my spiritual coach, a real person, not a spiritual guide, about, the shoulds. And I was like, what I really want to do is this. And it's like the third time that has come up in a conversation, literally. So see, this is why it's fun to have a podcast, because I get to learn and grow with every single human I talk to. Okay. Big question. This is like such a top question. And the question is about trust issues. And I want to talk about it in relation to, how do you let down the wall and, open up to new potential partners? I also want to extrapolate it out a little bit, because I had a client, again, I'm working on my book, and we were talking about a decision that this person wanted to make about where to live after retirement. And so she thought the problem she had was, where do I live in retirement? And so I think that when you're dating, the problem is, where do I meet the most amazing guy who's perfect for me, right? Now, what my client surfaced sort of in working through this process was that wasn't the real problem. Was, how does she trust herself? Because if she doesn't trust herself, then she'll never be able to make a decision about where she should go. And if you don't trust yourself in dating, and I would say this all the time, if I put the most amazing guy in front of you, you wouldn't recognize him, you wouldn't trust him, you'd push him away, right? Because you don't trust yourself. So I want you to all understand that this lack of self-trust like leaks into all these like very, again, intellectual problems that you have. So when you look at developing trust of self, what advice do you have for our listeners?
Okay, so there are two things, as you are, giving the example of this client, two things that we can see there. So usually we have trust issues because that little one version of herself, the inner child, has something missing. So first of all, we need to acknowledge her weakness and her insecurities and her vulnerabilities. How? You just say, honey, again, touch your heart, close your eyes. Honey, how old are you when you first start feeling like that? That you don't know how to make decisions. Oh, I was 7 because my mother left me alone with the house cleaner, and she went cross street to put gas in the car, and the house cleaner left the house. There are so crazy stuff that their mother didn't mean that. Yep. The mother left the baby, the daughter with the house cleaner. She didn't think that the house cleaner would leave. So first is acknowledge when it was the first time. How old was she? Usually younger than 7, better, but sometimes it's during your teenager, whatever, right? So then where does in your body you feel that? Oh, it's in my belly. I feel my stomach. So sometimes I have stomach ache if I'm feeling insecure. So then you just, Creator is commanded to send these uncomfortable feelings, emotions to divine, bright, white light. And you just imagine that there is this beautiful crystal tube going up from your head, and all that crap that you're feeling is going to react to the divine, bright, white light. And you, like, there is a vacuum, and you repeat the word vacuum, and violet flame, and you just imagine that thing is being removed from every single cell of your body, every single fiber of your body, and sent to divine light. So you just repeat. So first you acknowledge the inner child. You understand, okay, yes, I remember that this happened, but I'm here. I'm your adult version. So we are one now. I take care of you now, not the reverse. Because a lot of times we go dating and it's the inner child that is going dating. It's not the adult version. Then the guy, is just creeping, giving us breadcrumbs, and we accept the breadcrumbs because this is what we receive when we are a child. It's very similar. So this is one thing, okay, inner child. And then the second thing is the heart wall. Now, the heart wall was created by Dr. Bradley Nelson. He created the emotion code, and he was divinely guided about the concept of heart walls. So do you know when we put up our guard,
Yeah.
There is a good chance that we have an energetic wall guarding our heart to protect us from getting hurt again. So just to summarizing about the walls, I will give myself as an example. So when I first asked for divorce from my ex-husband years ago, I remember that a friend of mine that was also emotion code practitioner, she said, do you want that I remove your heart wall about the separation? I said, hell no, I need that
Yeah,
to
right.
protect myself.
Exactly.
So as we signed the separation agreement, I called her back. I said, yes, now I'm ready, because then I didn't need to protect myself anymore. So as we remove those heart walls, it's much easier for a good man to see us, because the energetic walls, like my energetic wall was 6 feet. I'm a petite gal. I'm a 5'2" gal. So imagine 6 feet, nobody could see me. And this was affecting my business. This was affecting the way that I was making money. This was affecting the way that I was communicating with others. You understand? So the heart wall we remove it helps like to release the trapped emotions that could be contributing for those issues of trusting, for example. And sometimes, Marni, we need to remove several heart walls. So usually like takes like maybe a few sessions to remove all the heart walls. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's just one heart wall per session, and really helps, especially when people are going through a changing career, job interview. There are cases that they come to me and say, Silvia, I was great in the interview. They never call me back. And this repeats over and over. Remove the heart wall, boom. They get
Everything
the best
shifts.
job. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a spiritual way to like peel the onion back.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a very fast way.
Yeah. Right. Instead of going to therapy for like 100 years.
No. I think we should go to therapy. I love therapy, but I just feel that there are things that the therapist cannot hit.
Right. Right.
Therapy is past to present. And the healing work is from a little bit from the past, but from present to the future,
Oh my God. I love that. I love that. Okay. Last piece, because you are so good. I want to have you back on the show. I mean, we could talk for hours. You have so many amazing things. So if you look at how to establish healthy boundaries and because I was just talking to someone about boundaries. Someone called me the boundary queen. It's funny. How do you help women have boundaries, but not be guarded that they are respected by their partners, but also, in their feminine and able to make connections so that they're not like boundary.
So boundaries and respect start within. And I help my clients to be in tune with their inner child, as I just mentioned, about the trusting thing and any other thing. And the little version of ourselves have a tendency to be a people pleaser. And lack of boundaries usually happens when we are longing to be accepted and loved for who we are. When we say yes to everyone and everything, we are betraying our integrity and self-respect. So together, my clients and I, and anybody, like you don't need to be my client to do that. You can work to identify those old patterns and learn how to start saying no to people who could be taken for granted. But the no has to come from within. Okay, so it's a practice, right? And when I'm mentoring and coaching my clients from that sacred and divine place, that high vibrational field, there is no judgment. There isn't any judgment. And we feel creative, resourceful, and whole with our higher self. And then from there, we can start receiving divine guidance, energetic downloads. In what, when, and how to be in alignment with our unlimited possibilities. This will help us to navigate in our relationships by understanding how to receive the respect that we really deserve. So when we are in alignment with the inner child that we are speaking about a little ago in your soul, we show up in our relationships standing on our power. And this will reflect the way people will interact with us. Like no more being taken for granted, no more feeling that they are powerless, that we're powerless, because people can still take us for granted, but say, hey, no way. You're not going to talk to me like that. When you calm down, please, I'm open here. I would love to talk. It's just we are not victims anymore, because the inner child is like, oh, blah, 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 right? And when we say yes to daughters and partners, too many yes, we could be betraying our self-care.
Right.
So especially in your age now, that we have a tendency that we want to help more and more and more everybody. So first ask yourself, if this is going to add value in my well-being. Saying yes to this person, it will add value. Yes, okay, let's go. Let's go. I have a huge example. I have a dear friend that she just flew back from Denver to Raleigh, and her flight was running late, and she would be in the airport at 1 a.m. And I didn't want that she take a Uber by herself at 1 a.m. because, in Raleigh doesn't have a lot of Ubers at this time.
Yeah.
I said, no, I will take Duke, go in the car, and I will take you. I will pick you up in the airport. There was no judgment, it was from my heart.
Oh,
so but you understand, so this is the yes. And I say yes from the heart is like that.
It feels
if I was tired, if I was sick, no, sorry, I can't. And she didn't ask me. It's a good example to see when is a yes coming from your heart.
I love this. Someone else told me something really interesting the other day, that when we set a boundary, we allow ourselves to do the healing work because we are taking care of ourselves. And that as we do that, then we can expand our boundaries, right? Because then we feel strong. We're not taking things personally. We feel respected, right? Our little selves aren't getting all wounded. And that if we don't say no, then we don't have the space to build back that self-trust and like build that relationship with the parts of us that need to feel, like that we've got it, that we're taking care of. I love that. So can I ask you one more question before we talk about your gift that you've got for people?
Sure.
Okay. So because you were talking a lot about healing work and about just how that it takes someone from like functional to thriving, right? It's that like next level. I think people get confused about, healing. I feel like I've done a lot of healing on that. I think people think, a massage is healing, or someone thinks having Reiki is healing. Like what really, if in your world, what does healing mean? And how can we think about that?
Yeah. So the energy healing work, it can be so many things, right? So I will share with you my experience. I have been working with energy healing for the last 40 years. I'm 50, so I think I was born working with energy healing. And so Reiki, Kundalini, yoga, energy, emotion code, theta healing, and so many other modalities. And so there are wonderful things there. It's more about what you resonate with. But however, I found that coaching and mentoring my clients from that high vibrational field helps me to be in tune with my spiritual team. So again, right? Because they give the exact energy healing tool, the exactly modality, like they hint, they whisper what to use for that specific client. And that is also the key to give her the next step, to bring her clarity and the answers that she has been looking for, like to transform her life,
I love that.
Some downloads that we're going to do next, and it will help them, it will help all of us and her, of course, in the session. She will know exactly what and how she needs to release that specific limited belief, blockage, and stuck feeling. Because I think this is what it really blocks us, is that stuck feeling. I don't know what to do. Right. I'm here, but I want to be here. So we as mentors and coaches, right, I think the gift is to short the gap. So the energy healing helps to short the gap faster, because we also invite the lineage of energy, right? Their ancestors' energy.
I think that this is beautiful because you're really talking about, if we go back to the basic premise that we are energy, then how can we work with our energy and be aware of it and start to shift it and heal it and lighten it and open it? And that's where, when we have that, like if people were taught about, yes, you have like access to the 5 senses, but you also have access to like your energy, your intuition, all those things that you've been talking about here on the show, like that's when we really connect to our superpower. And you're so good at helping your clients do that. So before we go, so what do you have for our little, our little ladies, our little listeners?
Yeah. Wow. So I would love to share a few downloads here, because I would love to share a few energetic downloads to be in tune with your higher self. Okay, so let's go.
I love that. Tell me what they are.
So let's start. So first, I want that everybody, like, you close your eyes or not, whatever you feel comfortable, and just follow my words and just repeat quietly. Creator of all that is commanded that I receive all the following downloads, and they activate every single cell and fibers of my body, bringing me clarity, peace, love, compassion, and gratitude. It's done, it's done, it's done. Thank you, Creator. So now, do you just say, yes at the end? So do you give me permission to give you a download?
Yes.
Awesome. So please say yes at the end of each download, okay? Out loud.
Love that. Okay. Are we doing another one?
Yeah, right. No. Now we're going to do the download.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I just, just follow my words and say yes at the end of each download. I know how to live following the divine plan created especially for me. Yes?
Yes.
Wonderful. I understand how to live with the divine perception of what self-love is. Yes?
Yes.
I understand how to live with the divine perception of accepting myself the way that I am. Yes?
Yes.
I accept the divine guidance in how to live free of sabotage. Yes?
Oh, hell yes.
I'm delighted to have the divine inspiration through every step of my journey. Yes?
Hell yes.
I understand what it is to feel divinely loved. Yes?
Yes.
I understand to listen to divine guidance every day of my life. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
And I know how it feels like to be loved the same way that Creator loves me. Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Done is done is done. Thank you, Creator. And so it is.
Oh, and so it is. I love that. That is amazing. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, my love.
I'm so happy, and just you're brilliant, and just everything you have to share is something that we can all just take in and use right away. So I feel grateful that my spiritual team brought you into my life in this way so that we could create a ripple effect in the work that you're doing here. So just lots of love to you. Ladies, if you want to know more about the amazing Silvia, you can go to Quintella Life Coach and Mentor.com. It's Quintella Life Coach and Mentor.com. And of course, the link will be in the show notes. Love you all. And remember, whatever you do, do not forget, life check yourself. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Kisses.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning into today's show. So if being in an intimate relationship in which you feel 100% seen, heard, and accepted by a high caliber man is a priority for you right now, and you're interested in seeing if you're a fit for working with me and my team at Dating with Dignity, here's what I want you to do. Just head over to dwdvip.com
That's D as in dating, W, D as in dating, VIP.com, and book a call to speak with my team. We'll get on the phone with you for about 60 minutes and you'll get crystal clear on what's stopping you from finding true love right now. We'll also take a look at what you want to create, what you want your whole life to look like when you're able to finally be fully expressed as a woman in a healthy relationship with an incredible guy. And if we can help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be, we will show you the fastest path possible that makes sense for you to do that. We help smart, successful women all over the world solve this one missing piece in their life so they can finally have it all. So to see if we can help you do the same thing, head over to dwdvip.com. I'm Marni Battista, and let's talk soon.